Now this is quite a long chapter, and this might be a good point at which to stop and split it into 2 sessions, so do the bass clef notes next time. But here are the bass clef notes. So remembering that a clef simply means a letter name on one of the lines to tell you where all the notes are. Now this, believe it or not, this is the bass clef, so it's used for lower bassy instruments like cellos, trombones, broken men's voices, that kind of thing. This is an F. I don't know why it's an F. I suppose, I don't know, is there some relation between that and that? I'm not really sure, apart from it being slightly curvy, but somehow over time whatever started off as an F turned into this symbol here, and it does have quite a clear dot on that line there, which if we follow it along shows us that that note is F. Okay, so the bass clef is an F clef, it's the letter F. And in the same way as you did with the treble clef, once you know one note, you can go up or down your musical alphabet to fill in the rest of the notes. So I'm just going to go through these exercises quickly because they're very similar, if not the same, as the ones you did in the treble clef. So there's copying the clef and its name across there. Just watch this one. So instead of going from the bottom to the top, this goes from the top to the bottom. So there's 2 different ways you can do that. You can try to do your alphabet backwards. So you put your next note in by looking at the top of the page and say, well, the letter before C in the alphabet is B. But if you don't feel very confident about doing your alphabet backwards, then you can simply do the exercise backwards. Do the next note up. If that's F, then that's got to be a G. Okay, do make sure that you're looking at the bass clef notes, the ones at the top of page 12. Now, I'm not going to go through the rest of the exercises on page 12 and 13 because, as I say, they are very similar to what you did with the treble clef. Do make sure that you're looking at these bass clef notes though. Skipping to the top of page 14, this exercise always causes a lot of confusion, but once you've got how it works, it's quite easy, if a little tedious. It says add the clef. Now remembering a clef is a letter, okay? So what letter at the beginning of these lines here is going to make that note into a G? I'm going to put both of them in for now. So I've got my treble clef and my bass clef. All right, bass clef, you can remember hopefully, is an F clef. It tells you that this line here is F. Now if I count down, if you can see my pencil all that well, F, E, D, C, B. It's saying that that note is a B if we're in the bass clef. But this disagrees, it's saying it's a G, so it can't be a bass clef. A bass clef is not going to make that note into a G. Let's have a look at the treble clef here. Well, this is quite easy for the treble clef because it is a G clef and it's telling us that that note is G. So the treble clef would be the one that's correct in that instance. And here, we've just said actually, haven't we, that this line is F. So we know that we need to put a bass clef in there. If you don't want to do it by counting up and down the notes, which can be quite confusing, just look back on the previous 2 pages, so page 12 for your bass clef notes, page 10 for your treble clef notes, and just check there which clef makes the note correct. Exercise 18 at the bottom of the page. Again, just double check your treble and bass clef at the beginning of the line. So it says add the note in each numbered space. Here it wants a B that's a crotchet. Now I know because we're in the treble clef that this line is G, G, A, B. So a B is going to be on the middle line there. And it's a crotchet. Now because it's the middle line, I can put the stem going up or going down. I'll put it down for now. Okay, so that's all you do there, is just write in the note and then turn it into a crotchet or a quaver or whatever it's asking for. And do just make sure, again, that you check what clef you're doing first. And then finally in this mammoth chapter we get to page 15. It says look at the melody and answer the questions. The first question is write the letter name of each note marked with the little asterisk there. So first one is the asterisk. We've got treble clef. We know that that note is G in the treble clef, so this must be a G. Again, you can work it out or you can go back and look at your note charts on the previous pages. And then question 2, write the time name of each note in bar 1. It's helpfully put the bar numbers in for you. Here's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, 4, etc. So in bar 1, all of these are crotchets. Okay. So, and then you can fill in the rest of that page. And again, please just check because B is a bass